In my presentations and classes, I find myself quoting this so often, and I finally found the author of this quote, the Don Freeman. And the Don Freeman says, "Never be afraid to shine. The sun doesn't give a F if it blinds you." I have been saying this so much lately, and I want you to spread your wings, open your heart, lead with your heart, and freaking shine so brightly. So let's talk about that Leo archetype in your business and brand that you need to be heart-centered and shine. Welcome to the Savvy Luminary podcast, Astrology for Entrepreneurs. I'm your host, Leslie Tagorda, creator of the Astrobrand Method, business astrologer, brand designer, author, and Aquarius boss woman. I help visionary spiritual entrepreneurs and impact makers like you illuminate and amplify your unique star powers so you can be the luminary you were born to be. I am freaking loving this Leo energy of the last week. It's been so exhilarating, like literally exhilarating. And all of my Leo clients have been coming out of the woodwork. Earlier this week, we had, I hosted a free Leo new moon ceremony and did a couple of readings. And it was so interesting to see the themes of intercepted Leo or Leo in the 12th house, meaning where Leo is a little bit wounded and how our creativity is wounded and how we prevent ourselves from shining brightly on one hand. And on the other hand, today I'm recording this on Tuesday evening after a long, crazy day, really loud in my house. I've been wanting to record this episode, but there was just no chance with children running around and construction going on. It was loud. But today I managed to have two amazing Astrobrand readings with two new Leo emphasized clients. One, this beautiful heart-centered coach slash opera singer with her Leo sun in the 10th house, and the other, another empowerment coach who is just working so brilliantly with her Leo rising. And it was just, it filled my heart so much. Like this Aquarius, my Aquarius soul was just completely lit up by all of this Leo energy. And I just can't, I don't know how to express how full my heart is and how excited and joyful I am right now with the work that I'm doing and seeing and witnessing people recognize their brilliance and starting to craft that in their own businesses. So today I'm going to be talking about this sun-centered Leo energy, what it means, and how you want to find it in your business by planet, by a little bit of house placement, and what happens when you're not shining brightly and harnessing that Leo energy. I know you have it. All right. So before we dive in, I wanted to remind you, and I'm going to be talking about this for just a little bit longer because we get started on August 16th. But on August 16th, I'm offering a live hybrid version of Written in the Stars. For those of you that have already signed up for Written in the Stars and Star Powered, thank you from the bottom of my heart. One of my favorite things to do is to teach. And so I'm really excited to brush off my teaching chops and share with you all that I know about how to read your natal chart for business. That's Written in the Stars. And for those of you that decide to dive in deeper with me and continue your learning, go into Star Powered, where we're going to do a deep dive into the sun, the what you do, the moon, the why you do, the rising, how you do, and the descendant, the who you serve in your business. And that's going to be a 4-week intensive that follows up Written in the Stars. So if you're interested in joining me, we have over 30 people signed up. My goal is 20 more people. I really wanted to bring 50 people into the circle. So if this sounds interesting for you, if you're a spiritually centered entrepreneur and have a passion-led business, I want you to join in for Written in the Stars. Written in the Stars is going to be a hybrid of pre-recorded videos, like little short videos, not overwhelming videos, like less than 20 minutes, as well as daily live Zoom Q&A sessions so that I can answer all of your questions and that we can connect the entire week of August 16th through the 20th. Written in the stars, you're going to learn how to create, direct, and navigate your business using astrology in ways that are inclusive, empowering, and 100% unique to you. You probably already know my style of astrology. There is no place for fear mongering and no judgment. Instead, I'm going to teach you how to look at your chart in an empowering way, meaning you're not going to judge your challenges, your aspects, or detriments, or anything like that as being hard. And you're going to learn how to reach your highest potentials according to your unique design. Even if you already know how to read your chart, you might have taken this class last year with me in the middle of 2020. You're going to even pick up even more in this optimized experience. In Written in the Stars, I'm going to show you how to view your chart in a holistic way, not only just singular ingredients on the list. I'm going to show you how this is your first step into reading your one-of-a-kind potentials and strengths in your business. Talking about potentials and strengths in your business, I recently did an Enneagram test. I've never actually done it before. And I don't know, does Enneagram work for you? I feel like my result is this really me? Did I do the test wrong? And, I talk to other people who take other personality tests, and there's always these questions. I think we try to glitch the answers, but astrology, it's clear as day. I love astrology. So if you're interested in Written in the Stars, how to read your natal chart for business, head over to thesavvyluminary.com/written in the stars, all one word, and sign up now. Okie dokie, we are here for all things Leo, and I want to share everything that I know about Leo and how to use it in your business and your brand. It's been a while since I've set up an episode with a mantra, and I really want us to all embody and live and shine this Leo mantra. So if you could firmly plant your feet on the ground, if you're able, if you could stretch your spine into the heavens, if you can touch the crown of your head to the sky, and take a deep clearing breath. We're going to say this twice, so please repeat after me. There is no one that shines like me. Beautiful. Do it again with conviction. Speak from your diaphragm, that bottom part of your belly. There is no one that shines like me. Leo season. All right. So let's dig in. So yes, the Leo archetype in your business. What is Leo? Well, it's the fifth sign in the zodiac. It rules the fifth house. It's ruled by the sun, and it is a fire sign. If you've been working with me before, listening for a while, you know that fire is pure inspiration and spirit and passion. It runs hot, and it really can't be contained. But Leo, unlike Sagittarius and Aries, it is the fixed sign. So it happens in the dog days of summer. The dog days of summer is symbolized by the star Sirius that we talked a little bit about during the new moon in Leo. And so it's in the middle of the summer. And any fixed sign that happens in the middle of the season, it's all about kind of going in deep. Fixed signs are not the best at change because they already know. They know what they want. So fixed fire is really, I wouldn't say grounded, but really centered in its creativity, in its ability to be creative and know what it's passionate about and how to create drama. One of the Leo clients that I was working with today, one of the questions that I ask in my Astrobrand readings, when we talk about our sun sign or any of our big three, the first thing I ask them is, so tell me what you know and love about and she used a Leo sun, about your Leo sun. And she used such beautiful words that totally fit. She said she loved that how her Leo sun was alluring and charismatic, and it had this colorful, vibrant like appearance. And I just loved everything about that. Because when we think about Leo, of course, we think about courage, we think about bravery, we think about heart-centeredness. And it is that from that place of courage and heart-centeredness that we become the leader, right? The other fire signs like Aries and Sagittarius, they have leadership qualities too. Aries is more like, well, I'm going to go my way. And if you decide to follow me, then that's great. And then Sagittarius is like, I have these brilliant ideals and I want to explore, come explore all of these new philosophies with me and explore our minds and travel and expand. And then Leo is just like, I want to be adored. I want to capture your attention. And this way I will lead you. And maybe that sounds a little bit shallow, but that's not really it. There's part of Leo that is represented from this place of the sovereign, really understanding what's in your heart and being your own guide and making your own way and leading others despite what others may think about you and still going for it. Leo is also representative of the inner child. And one of my friends, and I respect her so much, she had written a post, Asha Frost, the medicine woman, indigenous medicine woman, she had written a post about inner child and how we need to incorporate the inner child, the divine mother, and the wise sage that are already in us. And I see the Leo archetype as just being able to capture all of these, how would you say it? All of these beings, all of these spirits that are part of us through our heart center. So we can just illuminate this, radiate this through our heart. The symbol of Leo, of course, is the lion. Really, just a big kitty cat. Earlier this week, I was on Natalie Miller's amazing podcast called Mind Witchery, and we were talking about the Leo new moon. And this just happened to be the day after I got back from my vacation and we recorded it. I'd flown in the night before and I was really tired, and my mind, I just couldn't focus and I couldn't find my words. But when I listened and you went through everything, I was like, oh, this worked really well, because when we think of the lion, essentially a big kitty cat, the lion is so prideful and it does what it wants to do. Nobody F's with the lion. And, it goes on its hunt. It does what it needs to do. But for the rest of the time, it's lounging in the sun, laying down, relaxing, maybe being a little bit playful, but don't get in its way. Otherwise, it's a big swat. And so when we think about Leo, we have to remember that not only is it courageous and pride, but it is also playful and fun and creative. And so that's where that inner child part, that creativity and that pleasure seeking playfulness of Leo comes through. In traditional astrology, because Leo is also represented by the sun, Leo has a connection to the divine father. When I was talking about the Cancer archetype last month, we talked about the Cancer archetype being the divine mother, the feminine energy or the receptive yin energy that is protecting. Well, in traditional astrology with the sun and the Leo centeredness, now is the divine father and the child all at once, where when we're looking at the ruling planet of the sun, we have the sun representing our soul, S-O-L, as well as S-O-U-L, our creativity, our radiance, our vibrancy. And what I like to teach about the sun in our business and our brand, which rules Leo. So when you're looking at your chart, you can look at your sun placement as the ruler of Leo. You can look at your Leo placement, and the themes will be very similar. And sometimes they're really interchangeable. And so if we think about the sun in our solar system, and if we think of our solar system as this one big organism, and we are, the third planet away, orbiting the sun, part of this organism, the sun is so massive. The sun is so vibrant and brilliant, and it doesn't need any other energy because it's already emanating its own energy. The sun's creative brilliance just radiates really without much effort. It is so strong, it is so bright, it's so brilliant, it's so creative that sometimes when we look at it in our own chart, in our own businesses, in our own beings, we dismiss our sun sign. Of course, our sun sign is our stepping stone into learning astrology. So as soon as we learn everything about the sun sign, we're quickly off and about and learning all the other shiny objects. But I want us to come back to this soul, come back to the heart. This is not because it is like a basic or a foundational energy, but because this is the core energy of your business. Your sun doesn't need any other energy. You naturally radiate your sun's superpowers. And so the sun represents in your business and your brand the what you do that is so that you do with little to no effort, just so naturally talented. Your creative vibrancy and the will and the passion and the pleasure and the courage that you bring. And so when we combine this idea of the sun and Leo, the mantra of the sun and Leo is I will. When we look at the other side of the spectrum from the sun, we see Aquarius. And I think that's why I love all of my Leo clients so much, because there is this connection between the Leo and Aquarius, because on the other end, polarity of Leo is we have Aquarius. And with Aquarius, the Aquarian mantra is I know. And between the I will and I know, there is this creative process, this creation, if you will. So when you look at your chart for Leo, remember Leo also rules the fifth house. And the fifth house in our business is about our purpose and our passion. It's about our playfulness and our lifestyle and our creativity. In traditional astrology, of course, the fifth house represents children. And so when we think about fifth house in our business as children as being not necessarily exact reproductions, but essentially creations from our own body in our business, the fifth house would then be those passion projects that we create from our business. So when you're looking at your chart, of course, all of that Leo and that brilliance and that will is coming from your sun sign. It's coming from wherever Leo by house falls in your chart, and it comes from the fifth house and the sign that rules there. Of course, if you want to dig in deeper with all of that, if that went a little bit over your head, again, join me for Written in the Stars, How to Read Your Natal Chart for Business. So we need Leo in our business, and Leo is somewhere in your chart by house or by planet. And wherever you have Leo in your chart, you are being asked to show up with joy, creativity, passion, and purpose. To have joy is to have heart and love and life and creativity and excitement. It's to work from this place of confidence and self-expression, to have fun and spontaneity. To be a true Leo is to want, to desire, to need to be likable and lovable, especially if you have a Leo moon that we'll talk about. I've noticed this so much with my Leo moon clients, where there's this aspect of them that they've kind of denied being adored and liked and loved, thinking that that would be too prideful, when in reality, that's exactly what they needed. And so to be likable and lovable is to first love yourself, to be open-hearted and light-hearted, to be confident in your own self-expression, and to shine your own heart-centered bright light. And of course, Leo is so important because this is where we gain our confidence. And, sometimes this confidence for Leo can be from this place of performance, of being on stage to be noticed. There's this element of maybe being a little bit of an exhibitionist, like being on stage, like the opera singer, or being one of the clients that I was talking with earlier. She mentioned that she used to be a fitness instructor in the gym, and that when she was in front of a class, like she would bring out all of her dramatic tools and just had so much fun. And I wanted her to bring bring more of that into her coaching practice. And she absolutely loved the idea, because to have confidence is to allow yourself to have fun, to be creative, and to play. And confidence comes from within. It doesn't come from somebody else. You have to foster that own confidence in your own self, and that's how you need to call in your Leo energy. Now, what happens when you're not using your Leo energy? Well, of course, systematically, especially as women or marginalized communities, maybe any BIPOC communities or women of color, we've been taught the shadows of Leo. Like, don't be too bright, don't be too proud, don't be too dramatic, don't be so passionate, and don't play. You have to work hard. And it's too bad at these shadows, because one of the exercises that I was really encouraging the new moon ceremony attendees to do was to notice how they were sitting, that if their shoulders were hunched over in this way that they were protecting their heart, I wanted them to roll their shoulders back and lift their hearts out and really lead with their heart. And now I speak from experience, because my posture is terrible. And when I was younger, I was always protecting my heart. I never wanted to lead with my heart. I was so self-conscious. Being confident was so hard for me. And there were many messages that I had picked up when I was a child. I remember when I was really little, the teachers would tell my mom to that I shouldn't brag so much about how smart I was, or when I became older and I was really good at the clarinet and I loved playing clarinet and people would notice me for that, and I was really good at it, there was also this underlying current about like, hey, you shouldn't stick out so much. Like, don't show off that you're so much more talented than the others. And so I want you to look at where you have been dimming your own light, because we want to F that, right? If we believe in all of these capitalistic and patriarchal societies, we're never going to trust our heart. We're never going to value our self-love. We're never going to prioritize our pleasure or validate our own brilliance. And when we don't do that, we're never going to understand what we radiate naturally. And how can we run heart-centered, purpose-driven businesses when we're denying that aspect of ourselves? So I want to give you permission. I want to give you permission to confidently and pleasurably and creatively grow and succeed in your business by using the Leo archetype, so that you can create your own confidence that just wells through, that is really just burst and wanting to be like just burst through and just like show off. I want you to be able to follow your own passion, because if you're running your own business and you're not doing something that you love, then why the heck are you running your own business? I want you to shine brightly, truly brightly, never dim your light. And I want you to make time for play and creativity, because it's not just children that deserve to play. And, for me, this is a big lesson, because I have so much joy in my work. And sometimes I forget how to be a kid. And last night I was really practicing being present with my 5-year-old, and we played all night a game of hide and seek in our tiny little 1,000 square foot house. So we had to get really creative. And that was kind of a challenge for me, honestly. But at the end, it was really fun. And my son really appreciated that fun connection. Wow. So how are you going to give yourself permission to be confident and to take pleasure in the work that you do? Now, of course, we need to talk about some Leo wounds, especially during that new moon ceremony that I held earlier this week. It isn't a surprise that the people that attended, we have like cycles of people that attend. Some people show up all the time. And then there's certain people that are always called to certain zodiac new moon ceremonies. And it's always the people that are really called. They have some kind of wound in that particular archetype. So it was really interesting to see this repeated again in this new moon ceremony with the Leo wounds. One of the things that I saw was a handful of people had Leo intercepted, meaning Leo did not have a cusp or a doorway into that zodiac. And so it doesn't mean that Leo is totally not available. It just means that if Leo doesn't have a cusp into it, that you have to go through Cancer. And what that means is going through Cancer is that you have to accept yourself first. You have to create emotional safety for yourself in order to shine brightly. So if you have a Leo intercepted, and meaning you don't have a cusp into Leo, make sure that you're really practicing self-acceptance and emotional safety so that you really can turn on that brilliance. I just recorded something on Instagram, an Instagram reel. So on cusps. So if you have, a question on cusps, check it out. I know I'm sending you all over the place, but I have been a content queen lately, just creating. The other Leo wound that I really found a lot of during this new moon ceremony was Leo in the 12th house. Now, 12th house has kind of a bad rap, especially if you listen to traditional astrologers. They talk about it as self-sabotage. They talk about it as hidden enemies and all things. And so if you have planets in the 12th house, maybe you're like freaking out because all of these things that, like you're worried about. But one of the ways that I like to look at the 12th house from this empowering perspective is that the 12th house is about where we need to find our ease and flow and restoration. It's a place of the soul's work and of spiritual work. It's this place of dark mystery. And if we're feeling like we are self-sabotaging or other people are sabotaging us, like that would be very traditional 12th house themes, oftentimes we're self-sabotaging because we're not allowing ourselves to have pleasure. So we're not allowing ourselves to just be and to make things easy. So if you have Leo ruling your 12th house, I really encourage you to find your soul's heart, to appreciate your own creative flow in your easy and soul-centered way, your easy pleasure. Give yourself permission to enjoy. Of course, we talked a little bit about the karmic planets and energies. Remember, the karmic planets are the planets that represent our soul's history. We bring in energy from a past life, if you believe in that. The moon sign represents our emotional intelligence and intuition, and in our business and our brand, and they represent what our needs are, our needs for nourishment and our why. And so if you have a Leo moon, like I talked about earlier, it represents not getting love from maybe your father or your family, or not getting recognition or praise, or maybe not being allowed to play as a child. But your Leo moon needs to be recognized. It needs adoration. And so for you, giving yourself the love of your inner child, loving your inner child, and choosing things in your business that allow you to receive and be recognized with praise and adoration. Now, if you have Leo Saturn, this is about turning doubt to mastery. Sometimes Saturn can feel really heavy because it's giving you constraints and restraints, but really Saturn is asking you to master something, to do more with less. And so if you have Leo and Saturn, this is about changing your creative mastery, giving your sense this what can you do with creativity with less, and changing your restraint to responsibility. Again, with Leo, creative and courageous responsibility, where you're learning how to turn your doubt from not feeling safe into shining brightly, to turning your doubt of being told that you're too dramatic or you just want too much attention into really mastering how you can gain respected attention. And so Saturn in Leo can feel really hard for your creativity, but when you really master that self-critic, wow, you have the discipline to become a creative master. Now, if you have Leo in Chiron, of course, Chiron represents the wounded healer and represents the wounds that may never heal. And so, if you have Leo in Chiron, maybe it was never safe for you to be recognized or noticed or loved. But when you have learned the wisdom that enables you to be recognized and to love yourself, those tools that you have picked up become valuable assets when you share with others what you've learned. Chiron becomes part of your offer. And then, of course, the South Node, one of the karmic energies, the past patterns that you bring with you. If you have South Node in Leo, you are being asked to stretch into building community and friends and creating social impact while not getting stuck in your own entitlement or privilege. So check to see if you have any of those Leo wounds. Now, there are several ways to unlock Leo in your brand and your business. Of course, if you have strong Leo, meaning if you have the Leo as one of your big three, sun, moon, or rising, the sun in any sign on your rising on mid or midheaven, I would consider you having very strong Leo in your business and your brand. So really pumping up the heart-centeredness. And of course, you have Leo somewhere in your chart by cusp or house. And this is the area in your business where you're meant to bring in more joy and passion and purpose. And then, of course, if you have a Leo planet, this is the specific archetypal energy you were born with and get to use. It is a true heart-centered gift. So let's dig in to see if you have any Leo energies by planet. Because if you have any energies by planet in Leo, this is your energy to confidently, joyfully create in your business. Of course, if you have your sun in Leo, you radiate creativity and confidence as your superpower and zone of genius. It is your responsibility to create opportunities that allow you to radiate this creativity and confidence. If you have Leo moon, like I mentioned earlier, we talked a little bit about that. This is a non-negotiable. You need to feel praised and noticed in order to be successful. So choose opportunities that allow you to fulfill your why. If you have a Leo rising, you are a natural born leader. You lead and initiate. So take start with bold and creative displays. Like literally show it off, okay? Just show it off pridefully. No apologies needed. If you have Mercury in Leo, you communicate with confidence and inspiration with your heart. If you have Venus in Leo, you attract and partner with other brave creatives. If you have Mars in Leo, you are motivated by passion and inner will. And of course, if you have Jupiter in Leo, you expand your purpose with courage and playfulness. If you have Saturn in Leo, you sustain and preserve your creative boundaries and mastery. If you have Uranus in Leo, you innovate and evolve through love and creativity. If you have Chiron in Leo, you recognize your deepest heart-centered and recognition wounds and share what you have learned through your offers. If you have North Node in Leo, stretch into shining brightly and confidently to direct your business. And if you have South Node in Leo, fall back on what you know about being passionate without getting stuck in that pattern. Now, for the generational energies like Neptune and Pluto, if you have Neptune in Leo, please contact me. I'd love to give you a free astro brand reading. You blend into a feeling of heart-centered love. And if you have Pluto in Leo, you transform the power of self-love and creative expression. Now, all these planets in Leo, these are your gifts that you need and must use with responsibility. If you don't have any planets in Leo, it is okay because you have Leo somewhere by house in your chart. And of course, you have the sun. So wherever you have sun in your chart is where you need to also bring in some confident creativity, no matter what the sign is. And then by house, look to your chart, that circular chart, and see which house is ruled by Leo, because this is where you need to bring Leo energy into your business. This is the area of your business where you need to bring in more joy, passion, and purpose. So again, if you're a Leo rising, you have Leo on the first house, you're bringing more passion and joy and purpose into your brand identity and leadership roles. If you have Leo on the second house, you might be a Cancer rising, where your passion and your joy and your creativity are part of how you add value and what you value. This adds to you being able to abundantly and joyfully earn more moolah. If you have third house Leo, like me, you might be a Gemini rising, and here you're bringing joy and confidence to your communications and your marketing style. Shine brightly. If you have a fourth house with Leo being the ruler, you might be a Taurus rising. And here you are creating creative, joyful, safe spaces and maybe like a beautiful, luxurious home office. If you have fifth house, Leo as the ruler of your fifth house, you might be an Aries rising. And here you are supposed to bring more joy and passion in your creative pursuits and playtime. If you have Leo ruling the sixth house, you might be a Pisces rising. And here you bring more joy, passion, and purpose in your business's ability to serve others and your daily healthy routines, heart-centered daily routines. So, looking at health and making sure that it is fun. If you have Leo in the seventh house, you might be an Aquarius rising, where you are collaborating with joyful, creative co-creators, so heart-centered co-creators. If you have Leo ruling your eighth house, you might be a Capricorn rising. And here you're bringing more passion and purpose into your ability to regenerate and cultivate your return on investments. If you have Leo ruling the ninth house, you might be an inspiring Sagittarius rising. And here you're bringing more joy, passion, and purpose into your higher and continued learning and teaching. So big ideas, big, vibrant ideas. If you have Leo on the 10th house, you might be a Scorpio rising. And here you're bringing joy and passion into being seen, being visible in the way that you deliver your offering and your ultimate mission. If you have Leo on the 11th house, you might be a Libra rising, where you're bringing more joy, passion, and purpose in your ability to participate and call in your larger communities and groups. And lastly, we talked a little bit about this. If you have a 12th house ruled by Leo, you might be a Virgo rising, and you are meant to really learn how to bring more joyful, ease, passionate relaxation and purposeful time off for restoration. Wow. So we've covered a lot of Leo energies, and I'm curious, how are you going to shine brightly and share your brilliance? Please check your chart and see where you have Leo in your chart, somewhere by house or planet, to see where in your business you must cultivate this courageous, heart-centered energy. Remember, all of this is a gift. And with a gift comes a great responsibility to use it, appreciate it, and share with it. What will you do with your heart-centered Leo energy? So beautiful. Thank you so much for joining me. I just love talking about Leo. I love teaching people about how to use astrology. Of course, we have a few more days until we get started with Written in the Stars. So if it is calling you, please sign up. thesavvyluminary.com/written in the stars. 5 days of easy to do trainings and Q&As. You can drop in or submit your questions beforehand. If you can't make it live, I will answer all your questions. We start on August 16th. As we close, I want to repeat our mantra. If you're able to take a deep, clearing breath, please do so and reset your nervous system. Breathe again through your heart. Feel your heart energy field just expanding with all of this confident joy. And repeat after me. There is no one that shines like me. Beautiful. Well, thank you, Luminary, for joining me this far. And until next time, take care. The greatest thing that you could do to me to pass things forward is to head over to Apple iTunes and leave a rating and review for this podcast. Let others know what you think, and each rating and review helps this podcast be more visible to listeners like you.